teaching. So, começou? Perfect. Let me check if we are already. Yeah, we are online here. So, thank you so much for everyone here joining us today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our current topics in operational management. I'm Bruno Garcia, your host for today, and it's a pleasure to have you here in our very first episode. This is a debut. This space was created, I have my notes here. This space was created to highlight relevant topics in the field of OM, operations management, through a series of interviews with experts and practitioners. The idea here is to be much more informal, kind of a talk show, and therefore thank you for all of you that are following us today. Sudipa, if you allowed me, I will address our Brazilians and fellows in Portuguese just a little, and then we started, okay? Então, pessoal, sejam todos bem-vindos ao nosso primeiro episódio desse projeto de extensão que fala sobre tópicos recentes em administração de operações. Eu sou o Bruno, seu host para hoje, e é um prazer tê-los todos aqui. Esse episódio vai ser feito em inglês por causa da nossa grande convidada, que daqui a pouco já vai se apresentar. E eu gostaria também de agradecer aqui a presença da Ingrid, que está nos dando apoio do ponto de vista operacional aqui para essa transmissão. Okay, that's it. So before beginning, I need to thank Ingrid for her assistance. We are mentioning just before started that we used to call we have an IT guy, but grateful we have IT woman. Thank you, Ingrid, for helping us today. And since we are online, I must say, if you enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe our channel, and also turn on the notifications so you can keep up about our upcoming episodes. With no more discussion, I think we can start it. The topic today will be mainstreaming in logistics and supply chain, and to enrich and make our discussion brighter, we have here actually Dr. Sudipa Sarker. She's an educator, researcher, and advisor with over 15 years of experience teaching, conducting research, and consulting across various industries. Thank you. Welcome, Dr. Sudipa. And I know for sure that you are the very best person to introduce yourself. So with this, I pass the words, the stage to you. So could you introduce yourself, tell a little bit about your background, where you're from, where are you living now and work, and so on. Thank you, Sudipa, again.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bruno, for inviting me to this talk show, and it's very new and first time for me to be invited in this kind of talk shows. So as Bruno said, that my name is Sudipa Sarker. I'm now currently a lecturer in the University of Strathclyde at the Department of Design, Manufacturing and Engineering Management. And I have, though my academic experience is about 15 plus years, but I'm working in professional fields since 2005. So it has been almost 20 years. And supply chain has been always the core of my studies, I would say. That's so I learned supply chain as a bachelor student, master student, and also as a PhD student. But then I get to teach supply chain in different countries as well. So anything you can think about in terms of supply chain, I probably would be able to respond to it. Or I can say that, okay, look here or look there, or connect with you someone who will be able to give you more detailed answer to it. So yes, that is kind of me or my introduction.
Oh, that's good, Sudipa. And I have checked your background that you're born from Asia and then move out and move in to Bangladesh more than one time, right? And then goes to Europe. How was life through this international experience?
So yes, thank you for asking that question, because sometimes it is that because I don't look so much old, people think that I don't have much experience, but actually I have a lot of experience, and also experience in working in 6 different countries other than my home country in Bangladesh. So yes, I moved out of Bangladesh for the first time in 2007 to do a master's in industrial and system engineering in National University of Singapore. And then after I finished that master's, I also worked in Singapore in an industrial engineering consultancy industry for a year. And then in 2009, actually, I moved back to Bangladesh and joined the department that I graduated from, or university I graduated from, as a lecturer. But because I had already a master's, so I was moved to a assistant professor level quite early. And then in 2012, I actually did a Erasmus Mundus. I also got an Erasmus Mundus scholarship to do a PhD in European doctorate in industrial management, and it was between Sweden and Italy. So in from 2012 to 2016, I was in Europe, mostly in Sweden, 3 years in Sweden, and then 1 year in Italy at Politecnico di Milano, and in Sweden it was KTH, the Royal Institute of Technology. But after finishing my PhD, I had a kind of a family reason to go back to Bangladesh again, because my father was terminally ill, and he had an organization which needed my support. So I went back. I joined the academia or the university that I was in. But as a side thing, I also helped my father to kind of relieve his business. And unfortunately, he passed away in 2018. So after he passed away, I felt that probably I need to kind of concentrate on my career, and I was looking for jobs, especially in Scandinavia or in Europe. And fortunately I got one in Denmark as an assistant professor in Aarhus University. And I moved to Denmark again in 2019. And then, yeah, after that, I was in 2022, I was in Hanken School of Economics. And now I am in UK. And even in UK, I just recently switched to a new job in University of Strathclyde.
That's a long journey, Sudipa.
That's a really long journey, yes.
That's good. That's good. I hope this journey will like happy and probably full of ups and downs and so on. And I would like to ask you if, since you lived and worked in different countries, how's this shape, or if not shape, obviously you can say too, your perspective on gender issues? Do you feel differences among those countries?
I think that's a very interesting question, because yes, of course, I have lived in like countries like Bangladesh or in Asian countries where the gender gap is much wider. But also countries like Scandinavia, where they think that the gender gap is quite smaller. But unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know if because I was in technical institutes, mostly in technical institutes. I felt that even in Scandinavian countries, there are a lot of gender gaps, and women, especially, I would not say Finland. But for Finland, I think they are almost most equal, and you can see a lot of women in the workplace. But in Sweden and Denmark, I would say that in at least in technical universities, there is a backlash against women, so that like the women researchers are not kind of respected very well in the academia. I'm not sure why is that, but it is like that. And of course, if you say that progression of the career if you compare between a male academic and a women academic, you will see that women academic typically takes a lot of time to kind of move to a senior position than a male academic. And it is also like all sort of reason, like, for example, family reason. If you have a family, if you have a small child, probably the attention to your work is not that strong, at least for a few period. And also it becomes a kind of a cyclic procedure, because then if you take, like, okay, they like in Sweden you have like 18 months of maternity leave, but then if you take that leave, then you are 18 months off from your work, right? So that means also that, okay, yeah, of course you are compensated with the salary, but the work that you missed, actually the same person, if it's a male, they will not miss that work, right? Because they are not taking that kind of long leave. At least in Sweden, it's good that you actually can share the maternity leave between the both parents. But yeah, but the other countries are not that, are not that kind of family friendly. So even in academia, I think a lot of my friends that I see, that who are kind of my peer, they are single. They don't have a partner, and they are unmarried. And even if they are kind of have a partner, they are without kids. So this is kind of the scenario I have seen even in academia, even in Western countries. Like in East, I think we are a bit protected because we are kind of our families support when there is a kid in the family. The parents support to raise the kid, right? But in a Western world, if you actually have to engage a daycare, which can become very costly. Like in the UK, the daycare is very costly. It's almost one person's salary. So if you want to have a kid and also want to have a work life, then you kind of sacrifice your salary. So yeah, it's I think it's difficult for women in everywhere. It's not only in the logistics, it's not only in the academia, but everywhere.
Okay, that's very interesting and brings us thoughts about inequality, even in Nordics and so on, because probably we need policies. Hearing you, I was thinking about policies and how to fast track the academic journey for women. We have this maternity leaves, but might be not enough. We should think after and before the maternity leave how to make this more equal, right?
Exactly.
And what about we are talking about probably different perspectives and countries. And in your opinion, where is like a biggest misconception about women working in supply chain management, bringing this discussion to supply chain management? Do you feel there are some misconceptions related to women working in this field?
I believe so. Actually, in my research, I have found a lot of kind of perception gaps for women and men equally, because supply chain sector is kind of come across a very male-dominated sector. Because when you think about supply chain, you're probably thinking about big lorries and those drivers, like heavy men driving those lorries, or the big warehouses where actually you need a lot of manual labor. But actually, with the AI and other things, the environment of supply chain warehouses or supply chain like logistics are changing, right? Because you now have a lot of machine power, and that kind of replacing a lot of manpower that was previously probably required in a supply chain environment. So one perception gap I feel that the women and men also have, that is a very male dominated sector. But if you see across the supply chain, so supply chain you can be a procurement professional, you can be an operation professional, you can be a logistics professional, right? So it's like the three main stream of supply chain. But in procurement, you can actually see a lot of women working, because a procurement is kind of a desk job compared to the logistics or operations. and you can work remotely. So you have a lot of flexibility in working in a procurement environment. So in procurement, you will see a lot of female, but not so much in operations or logistics. Probably logistics is lot less, especially in warehouses, like carrying goods. Like we visited a Tesco warehouse in 2023, and then we see that okay, there are a lot of automation in the warehouse, but yeah, not so much, like not so many women are working, though women are capable of driving like forklifts or other things that don't require actually a physical, you need to be physically strong, so I think so the perception is gap is this kind of okay, thinking it as a very male dominated sector. I think that this we should not actually, nowadays we cannot see it as a very male dominated sector, because there are actually a lot of opportunities for women to work in logistics sector. So I give you one example. For example, if you do deliveries for companies like the logistics companies, you can have actually a very flexible schedule. So you can book, okay, so these are the deliveries that I will be doing today, and then it can actually fit your family lifestyle as well, because then you can, okay, if you have a kind of a children which needs to be going to a school in the morning, you don't take any deliveries in the morning. If you want to like you take the delivery for 6 hours, not for entire 8 hours. So there are actually a lot of opportunities for women also, even in the logistics sector, to work flexibly. So I think that those opportunities sometimes are not visible to women, or women doesn't see it as an opportunity because they are not just aware of, okay, these are the options. And one of the interviews that we had, actually, one recruiting agent was talking that the jobs in supply chain are very well paid. So this is another thing that women should think about. Okay, if they choose a job in supply chain, probably they have opportunity to have being paid well, in the sector, and especially people who already are in the sector. They actually have, or women who are already in the sector, they have a lot of fun actually working in the sector, because it's constant challenges. So you don't have the time to get bored, Like, so you will be always like managing something.
Okay, that's very interesting. Can you talk a little bit about your research, because you have mentioned that you are researching on this topic and you found like this perceptions gaps. From where this idea comes up of working this particular topic?
Okay. Yeah, I actually mention some of the barriers that women face to join the sector. So when we interviewed, we actually when we got the data, we actually divided the barrier in three categories. So one is individual level barriers, one is organizational level barriers, and the third one is industrial level barriers. And the reason for dividing these barriers in the categories, so we know like who actually can remove those barriers. So if it's a individual level barriers, it may not be removed by an organization. If it's an industry level barrier, it may not be removed by by only an individual. So that's the reason for kind of categorizing it into three different levels. So one of the in individual level barriers, what we found is that that women actually lack in confidence and lack in also assertiveness in job environment. So which is kind of problematic, because some of the jobs you actually need to be very outspoken, right? So if you have a kind of lack of confidence in projecting that job, it may not be kind of, it lack of confidence may actually come across as you are not capable of doing the job. But the capability is never an issue. It's always a confidence level is an issue. And then we also, at the individual level, we also found that women don't get enough networking opportunity. So the events, normally the events that are formed for networking within supply chain, probably they are in evening where actually women cannot go and join those events, because it's in the evening. They might have to go back to the family, so they don't want to join those events. For male counterpart, it's easy to go to a evening, go to a kind of event in an evening, because of course they probably don't have to take care of their small children or other things. So that is kind of individual level barrier. But then we also found the organizational level barrier. So the organizational level barrier, one part of the barrier is organization environment level barrier. So we see that there are like too few women already in the logistics sector. And then there are lack of women role model in the sector. Then you have like lack of entrepreneurs, logistics entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs in the sector, and that becomes kind of a cyclic problem. So because there is too few women, also women who enters don't feel very welcome to stay in the sector.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of a male organizational culture.
Exactly. It's kind of a male-driven culture. It's kind of a male-driven culture. And so that is one aspect of the organizational level barrier. Another very important aspect of organizational level barrier is that women who actually speak against any kind of discrimination within the organization, they sometimes experience a more backlash. They sometimes experience that they are kind of shut down because of that. They might lose job, get fired. So women also don't speak up. So one thing is women don't speak up, and when they actually speak up, it goes against them, or no action has been taken in the organization to actually do any kind of remedy for that. So that is kind of another kind of organizational environment related barrier that we face. And also there are this kind of glass ceiling. So women cannot get over a certain position after they've been in the organization. So they will never be promoted to a CEO, right? So those kind of career growth barrier that exists also in the organization. And then there is another thing called glass cliff. So glass cliff is something that when there is a problem in the organization, a women leader is kind of given the leadership to deal with the problem. So whenever there is a problem or organization is struggling for some reason, a women leader is kind of given the problem and to kind of deal with the problem. But that is also a difficult situation for women, because that may not be that problem may not be solved because somebody else created the problem, but now he or she got the better because of that someone left or something. So that is another problem. So in our organization, we also don't make the environment very conducive to women. So it is another problem. And the last one is industrial level barrier. What we found as the industrial level barrier is kind of that infrastructural issue. So for example, if there are kind of roads like where you have to drive, where you have to be a women driver driving on roads. So there is kind of security issue. There is issues with getting healthy food. There is issues with also getting a service center where you can actually take some rest when you are doing that long driving, for driving a lorry to, for example, in Scotland, you have islands. You have to drive for long to those islands. So those kind of infrastructural issue is kind of the industrial level barrier that we have seen.
Very, very interesting. I took notes. And about those barriers, trying to look for the brighter side. I have been researching sustainability, and we have been talking too long maybe about ESGs and sustainability practices. Based on your experience and your research, do you feel that shift towards sustainability and ESG reports can encourage more inclusive practices, can encourage ways to fight against those barriers and to remove those barriers, even though in the individual, organizational, industrial level. How do you feel about that?
I think there is a gap in understanding of sustainability, not only in academic literature, as well as I think in industries. Because when we think about sustainability, of course, we think about environment. What we don't think about is the part of social sustainability. And in the social sustainability, these issues like gender mainstreaming or having a gender equal environment comes into it. So even in academic literature, if you see the literature around social sustainability, it's not actually, it's kind of there is a gap, or there is I think it's less matured literature than environmental and economic sustainability together, So what we need to do actually to promote this social sustainability literature and to promote this kind of gender equality things, not only in academic literature, but also in the company reports, So, okay, what did they do for well-being of the workers? What did they do in terms of equality of gender equality, So these kind of things should be highlighted with also environmental aspect, with also the economic portion of the sustainability. I think social sustainability piece needs to be more highlighted in the corporate social reports and corporate social responsibility report, and even in academic literature. So I think there is a lot we can do.
Sorry, I was with mood. Yes, definitely, Sudipa. It makes a lot of sense what you speaking, and I remember the triple bottom line framework.
Exactly.
There is a fun about the framework, because we used to circle those three economic, environment, and social like equals, like the same balance. But most of the case we don't have this. People used to call that much more like a Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse from Disney. Mickey Mouse design, in which we have like economic is the face, the biggest focus, and then we have like two small ears with environment and social. So definitely social should be much more addressed to go through this.
Exactly.
Right?
And nowadays, I think it is also important, because so in social you also have this health and well-being part, right? And after COVID, we have seen that how big health can be, or how bigger threat health can be. If the health of the population, health of the workforce is not good, then the sustainability parameters actually don't stand, right? So we cannot talk about sustainability without having this leg of health addressed, So I think that this is very important now to talk about these things.
Very interesting. And considering our current audience, I don't know if we have like followers online, or the future who will watch this video later. And considering those that are interested in going this research topic through this research avenue that we were exploring, what type of advice would you give to them?
All women, not only all women, or okay. First, I give the advice to my, and then I will move to male population. So okay. I think that what advice I would give to them is to be courageous. There is this author called Maya Angelou. I don't know whether you heard about Maya Angelou. So Maya Angelou says that the courage is the most basic, I think, the most valuable human quality you can have. Because if you cannot practice courage, you cannot practice any other virtues. So I think that I would encourage women to be more vocal, more visible, more more confident, and yeah, more talkative as well. So to talk about their issues, and also I would give advice to even like support other women, because I think it's very needed that women support other women, in wherever they are in their journey in life. So that is one advice I would give to the women population, but also to the male population, that sometimes if you are a male and if you are in advantageous position, you may not think, okay, you need to think of those people who are not as advantageous position as you are. But I think that the society as a whole suffers if you actually put one gender in a more disadvantageous position than the other gender. So, for example, if women are choosing not to get married, women are choosing not to have kids, there is a broader societal impact because women doesn't feel supported when they are in a working environment. So I think that, like, also the male population to support more women, in the workplace, or speak on behalf of them, So
very interesting. So we must drive courage and supporting, considering men's and women's and men's, right? That's good. And do you feel that courage drove you through your way and your career?
For sure, certainly, for sure. I think sometimes I'm I'm brashly courageous. So too much courage, Sometimes probably it's not good to display so much courage, in the workplace, because then in Japan they have a kind of a saying that nails that stood out must be hammered down. So I have been hammered down in my life a lot of times by stooding up so much, So sometimes it can have those kind of backlash as well. So, but as I said, that I think that the wherever I am now is because of that. I had the courage to say things, to do things, to be what I am, to be comfortable with what I am.
Very, very good. And it's a good advice for our audience, right? To be able and feel comfort being who you are, and so on, right? And I don't know if we have this in English, but in Portuguese we have something like what doesn't kill us make us stronger, right? So
it is in every. I think in every language they have something like this. So what doesn't kill us make us like that.
So I know for sure that you're a strong woman.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Okay. We have prepared some questions, and also kind of going through the ending of our talk, which is very interesting and relevant. I would like to propose to you like a fast fire round. So I can say like a quick and engaging asking and responding. So is that okay for you? Perfect. So let's try. One word for the future of women in supply chain management.
Bright.
Good. The biggest misconception about women in logistics.
Women are incapable.
Good. A company doing best gender inclusion rights. Sorry, a company that's doing gender inclusion right.
GXO Logistics.
GXO?
GXO.
Okay, good. I will search for. And one policy every logistics company should implement it today.
Having more women in the board.
Perfect. Best piece of advice for a woman standing in this field.
Be courageous.
Be courageous. Good. And that's it. Sudipa, thank you so much for your time. We have like a very good and relevant talk. I'm just checking here our chat, and we have like a good morning from Franciele. She's also a professor here in my university, in Federal University of Catalan. And also my wife, Natalia Carrijo, is saying, hi, Sudipa. She says always that she misses you. So I'm sending you the greetings.
No, thank you, Bruno, and yeah, hi to Natalia as well.
Good. So unfortunately, I know the time has. Would you like to give like a final statement, something that pops up to your mind, something that we didn't address very well, as should be?
I think one thing I need to say about kind of gender mainstreaming, that also when I start researching it, one thing that came very forward is the intersectionality. So intersectionality is something that when gender is intersected by race, color, religion, and all the other traits that human being can have. So of course, the life of women are hard, but then life of a woman who have a brown skin like me is even harder. Especially if I'm browsing the world in a Western world where I am the minority. Or life of women who have, like, for example, who are Muslim, having a different attire than others can be much more challenging. So I think that we need to also, in the social sustainability parameter, we need to also kind of start discussing this intersectionality and diversity parameters as well.
Very interesting. Intersectionality is relevant. I have been searching a little bit about that on entrepreneurship, minority entrepreneurship, and we have discussed this in that international intersectionality has issues too, because then we add more layers of misconception and so on, right?
Exactly.
Good tip. Thank you, Sudipa. Unfortunately, this time has flown by, and we are reaching the end of our first episode on current topics in operational management. I definitely think we should change the name of the talk show because it's too long. I want to extend my thanks and gratitude to our guest, Dr. Sudipa Sarker, for her time and availability, and for sharing such valuable insights with us today. So thank you. Thank you also, Ingrid, for supporting us in this transmission, and see you in the next episodes where we will continue to explore fascinating topics in this particular field. Keep up about our social media, then we posted our next guest. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, and that's it.